Hope you guys enjoyed Announcement. Now moving on to Joe's most recent film, the very dramatic and emotional Letting Go. He's also joined by lead actor and producer of the film, James Leesky. Thanks for joining us, James.
Thank you for having me here.
No problem. Okay, so let's start off. Can you explain a little bit about the film?
Well,
She's asking for a synopsis, Joe.
let me just check real quick on the
Pull it
Letting
out
Go
on your phone right there.
Facebook page. The film is a dramatic film about a young man who realizes too late he has taken his wife and his marriage for granted. He is given one last chance to tell his wife what she means to him and to
Let go.
I'm
glad that was very professional. I'm glad that you had that with you.
Yeah,
We're a professional group of people, I think.
in all seriousness, it's an extremely dramatic film, so we probably shouldn't be joking.
Okay,
But
all right, we'll be serious.
No, really, the first film we screamed Announcement was very lighthearted, funny, and this one is a complete 180. So where did you come up with such an emotional script?
it was actually okay. It was a dream. I know it's like not what you want to talk about and stuff, but James was actually there on the receiving end of when I had initially written it down. I wrote it on like those 3 long sheets of paper right after. Like I quick jotted it down. I've never done that before with like a dream or anything, but I'm like, this would be a great short film.
He called me like right away and he wanted to tell me about it, so I like read all these tiny scraps of paper. And he's like, there's one more here too.
Don't forget this one.
Yeah, don't forget that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was.
It was a dream, and then there's also I had lost my aunt just a little bit before that, and so that played into it a little bit. So it's just, I mean, you know, it's a story about moving on and saying things to loved ones that you wish you could have said.
Right. Well, James, you played David in the film, and it seems like Joe really challenged you as an actor. How were you able to pull those like strong emotions out when you were filming?
Well, first off, because I produced it, it was me, Joe, and Brian Markovich. We all produced it together, and I wasn't gonna act in it at all. We actually held casting calls for the 2 main leads, and he just, I mean, I don't know, what did you say about the casting calls?
Well, we had trouble finding, the big thing with it is I had always done comedy, right? So my 4 years in college, I'd always kind of done something comedic or something still like close to heart, but never really dramatic. And like this was like a huge turn for me. I figured before I leave, I wanted to do one thing that was genre breaking from what we normally did. And so it was challenging to get actors that could actually, you know, have that raw emotion and really make it believable, because it's all on a college level.
Right.
And so, yeah, we were looking for actors, and we just never were able to find anybody until we were forced into James.
Right.
It's forced into isn't the right word, but James did not want to do it, and we were like,
so
I had worked with him before, and I knew that he could do it.
Yeah, I was nervous about it. We didn't have, he didn't like anyone for the casting call. He asked me to do it, and I had produced and acted before, and it just wasn't a good experience for me. I just wanted to focus on producing. But, I mean, he asked me to do it, and he said when I thought of this role, I kind of imagined you in it.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, you did a really, really good job. And right here on the picture is you, and then the other lead actor, Dana Sakaris, who plays your wife, Charlotte, in the film. I heard she's a really good friend of yours, right? So how did that actually help the process? Did that make it a little bit easier?
Yeah, I mean, we're all pretty close friends, I think. We've all worked with each other on many projects, and Dana was actually one of my producers because I was the news director at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, not Madison. But no, she was one of my producers on there. We've worked on other stuff together, and he casted that role, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know Dana, she's good. She was in Anchored, and she was, in all these other things. She was familiar with stage acting too, which I think when you're doing a dramatic, emotional role like that, you kind of have to have some of that theater background a little bit. So when I told him that was a good choice, and he's like, well, I want you to do it, and I'm like, I could do it, and I'll give it a shot, but like, yeah.
Well, you did a really good job.
Oh, thank you.
I have to admit that I did cry a little bit when I watched it.
Uh-oh.
No, that's a good
It's
thing.
a good thing.
No,
Okay,
you brought out the emotion. I was surprised at myself. I was like, don't cry. I was in the library too, so that was really embarrassing.
Oh, that must have been embarrassing. I would have
I hope no one's watching.
I can't believe what those two did on set. It was hard too. That was the most challenging part. when you're directing a dramatic scene, and again, this is different for me because I'm used to being on a fun set where you can joke around and stuff like that. We had to talk to the crew on the side and say like when James and Dana are finally like breaking and like you get into the tearful conversations, like we can't have anyone goofing around because you can't. Like the second we'd break that, we'd lose everything that we had, all the momentum going from it.
Which happened. But, I mean, problems happen on set.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? You're going to take it again.
Exactly. Yeah. But as long as you guys kept it going, that's really good. So this was the first emotional role for, like...
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I'd done little tiny stuff, always kind of a goof-off role here and there. And I was in another short that, I mean, it was dramatic, but nowhere near...
As this...
Nowhere near the emotional levels that I needed to express. So it was a challenge, big time.
But you did very well, like
Thank you.
Said. I really did like it. Well, good.
His
well, it was a great job
great,
for both of you. Yes,
directing.
both of you for sure.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Okay, well, all right, well, so I want to talk about the colors in the film. We do progress from warm colors to more like dark and cold colors. Do you want to explain the importance of that?
Tyler Frodo would probably be geeking out if he could be here right now.
Yes, but it's an idea Joe had from the beginning, though.
So we figured, and as you watch the movie, you'll see it, but we figured I wanted to go with like this fantasy dreamscape, like what is your perfect day? And to me, in a perfect day, everything is warm, and so we're like, okay, orange, like yellow, it's like streaks of light coming in, very comforting, very good like that.
Right.
And as you get throughout the movie, everything becomes colder and colder, and so...
Right, well that makes sense. All right, well it's time for another break, but stick around. We have more to talk about right here on Dairywood.
Between takes, I would kind of turn on my iPod and put in my earphones to anything that would kind of like bring me down a little bit.
Yeah. Welcome back to Dairywood, where we have Joe Chattel and James Leesky here talking about their very emotional film, Letting Go. So, Joe, I heard you guys had to wait a while for the soundtrack to come out after the film was done. How important do you think the music was for the film?
I think with any film, like music makes or breaks.
I agree.
I could go back, I mean, because you had already seen Announcement now. That whole movie like relied heavily on the music building the emotion and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish we could get Mike in here to talk about that. But man, it's like he is so good at understanding what the emotion needs to be at a certain point. And so with Letting Go, everything was all about riding that, the same thing we're doing with Color Temperature, riding the dream state to reality, and how little sound there is in reality, and how much like cinematic it is in the dream state. Yeah.
That's very true. Well, he did a really good job with that. You said Mike Locken was in charge of the music again. Did he give you a background, and did you tell him what kind of music you wanted, or did he just watch the film and then sort of decide what to put in there?
Well, for Letting Go, it's kind of a long process. What we did is we sat down and we talked about temp tracks, and what that is that's laying tracks of things that you have listened to already, so songs and scores from other movies, things like that, down, and
that you want to hit the right emotional track with people.
Yep.
Right.
And so we did that, and what you do is you try and replicate and build on that. And so we finally got it down to the idea that we liked, and it was, after that is where we built into everything he kind of built around it.
Well, it turned out very well. I think you're right. It really does help bring the emotions in and really sort of capture what you're trying to portray as well.
Which is difficult to do without music on set.
Yeah, because the music, you don't realize that the music's not there with you on set. You just are kind of...
How much easier would emotional scenes be if I could
Probably
just have some
a lot easier.
depressing stuff just pounding in my ears?
What did you do to
okay, well, to kind of, sorry, I just kind of yelled at you for a second. Well, you were talking about the emotional things I needed to like jump between, and between takes, I would kind of turn on my iPod and put in my earphones to, slow stuff, anything that would kind of like bring me down a little bit.
Yeah.
Downer music, it's out there, people. I mean,
it's out there.
Yeah, it's not all hunky-dory. There's some sad stuff out there. So that's what I would kind of do to get ready for the scene. And that was great because I could kind of like get in the zone, and even if people were just kind of goofing off, because people need to goof off to keep lighthearted with long shoots.
Oh, for sure.
I was able to stay in my zone, and man, the music, it's all about music. Music helps everything.
It does. I definitely agree about that. So, one last thing about what are one of the things that you want the audience to get out of the film?
I guess I'm gonna go back to relatable a little bit. Everybody goes through loss. It's like something that nobody can really escape, and it's how we deal with that that really like defines who we are. And so I want people to watch this and really see themselves in it. It doesn't have to be the exact situation, but everybody wants to say those last things to somebody. I think that's like the biggest part of moving on, even if you're not, talking directly to them. It's just
the idea.
Yeah,
of it.
it's something that I needed. It's something that everybody needs. And so I think if people can connect to it and really feel the emotions and stuff, then
Yeah, same. Ditto.
Same thing, whatever.
yeah.
Well, I mean, just when you're directing and something's like your baby type of thing, you got all those things in mind. Like for me, just producing it wise, and acting too. But like I just want people to like it.
Right.
And man,
I
people
really
liked
think
it.
I really think people are really enjoy this. I'm backing up for both of your films. They're both really good. But I know for announcement you had put stuff in for film festivals. But what are you guys doing for this one? What's the next step for Letting Go?
We're starting to shop it around. It's a little bit harder. We're not students anymore, so we're trying to submit to festivals that aren't student-based. So obviously there's more competition. But we have like a year that we'll try working on it and stuff.
What we need to start doing is we need to get a Without a Box account, and it's an online thing for filmmakers that are just starting out that helps them get their films out there to different festivals and stuff like that. And I mean, it's a pretty known thing. A lot of people know about it, but if people don't know about it, withoutabox.com is a huge thing. And
Everybody told us that. We're telling you that.
we haven't done it yet.
But it's
you guys should
important.
definitely do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I really think you should get your film out there. I mean, if Announcement was doing that well, I really think Letting Go is gonna do
well
really
as well.
Yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
Do well as well.
That was kind of yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
Now it's awkward.
Yeah.
TV, what are you going to do?
Well, is there any last words that you guys have about Letting Go that you want to talk about?
I think I'd like to thank our crew and our actors and everything. It's the most focused I've ever been on a project. I mean, you can tell that when we're talking about it, there's a lot of heart and soul in this film. So I was on set, I was extremely focused, and I think that's one of the things that helped it work.
Yeah.
We needed to be, there was no room to mess, there was messing around, but for the most part there was no room to.
It's more like, let's get in there, let's get this.
Exactly, it was just too, I just really believe in the film, and I hope other people do too.
Oh, I think they will for sure. But I do wanna, okay.
That's fine.
No, go ahead.
I mean, it was difficult because with our same group, with our same crew and everyone, we were producing 2 short films in the same
Right.
semester.
Okay.
So, and Letting
That's a little
Go was the first one we did. So if it didn't go well, like morale-wise, things wouldn't have been going very well.
Right.
So it was important that things went really well and everyone had a great time. That way, going into the next shoot, the next production.
Right.
Everyone was still excited about it.
I'm sure that really helped a lot, and I'm sure it turned out well because of that. But I do want to thank you guys so much for joining us. I can't wait to show everyone this heart-wrenching film, which is going to conclude our first episode of Dairywood. That's coming up right after this break here on Titan TV, Channel 57. Make sure to join us next week, Sunday at 7 p.m., when we talk about yet another Wisconsin-made film. And hey, don't forget to like us on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Dairywood. All right, bye. Have a good night.
I wish I did this more often.
What do you mean?
I wish I had more time to have these mornings with you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Hey, how about I take off today? We used to come here every summer. What happened?
We grew up.
That's no excuse. From now on, we're gonna start doing all the things we used to do when we were in college. Dancing, walks, amusement parks. The things we should have been doing all along. I'm sorry work gets in the way so much.
It's okay, David.
No. I'm gonna really start to take the time to do these things. You deserve it, Charlotte. And I'm sorry we didn't get to do them more often.
Took you aside. Do you remember? He took you aside and he asked you if you knew who ran off with the Dalmatian statue. And you lied. Do you remember that? You lied right to his face. You never lie, especially to people in authority. You said you had no idea who the man was and it was just some nut from the bathroom. So he let you leave. And you come outside and there it is, in all of its glory, the Dalmatian statue sitting in the passenger seat. So you come in the car and you sit down and you say,
Well, that was the second weirdest date I've ever been on.
and then it was my turn. Do you remember what I dared you to do?
Yeah. You dared me to kiss you.
And that was our first kiss. And I think it was after that. That's when I knew.
Knew what?
After that date, that's when I knew you were the woman I was gonna spend the rest of my life with. Charlotte, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all the late nights, fights about money and petty jealousies. I'm sorry for the small things and the big things. I'm sorry for it all. I'm sorry, I've been saying I'm sorry all night.
David, I need you to forgive yourself.
What?
I need you to forgive yourself, David. It wasn't your fault.
What are you talking?
I need you to remember what happened, David. It's okay.
I miss you so much.
okay. It's okay.
Had we left just an hour earlier? Had we left when you wanted to leave?
Don't do that. Don't ever do that. It wasn't your fault. I left exactly when I was supposed to. That's all there was. There was nothing either of us could have done to stop it. It wasn't your fault, David. Look at me, sweetheart. You have so much life ahead of you.
I miss you so much.
Dying was an incredible thing. It was everything and nothing all at once. And in the moment of madness, there was a calming element. I could see the world as it was happening around me, but I was never afraid. It's hard to describe, but it was a lot like falling asleep after being awake for a very, very long time. You want to know the most incredible part? Right at the end, it's just like they say. Your life does flash before you, but everything plays backwards, giving me one last chance to appreciate things. The picnics, dancing, amusement parks, a Dalmatian.
Did you feel any pain?
Not a thing. From the second of impact to the moment I closed my eyes, you don't feel a thing.
I will never stop loving you.
I'll never stop loving you, David.
No matter who else is out there. I will always love you. I will always love you. What happens now?
This is our time. We can say whatever we want. And we'll say goodbye. And then I'll be gone.
What do you mean by gone?
David. After I leave you tonight, that'll be the last time you'll see me. You might try to dream about me, but I won't be there. A portrait of me will live in your memories, but that'll be all. I'll be gone. This is why it's so important that we take advantage of this moment, David. This moment is for us. This moment is for you.
I would have treated you better.
I know.
I would have given you your dream house.
I know.
And our children.
I know, David.
I love you so much, Charlotte.
I love you too, David. an incredible husband, David. You gave me everything I ever wanted. And I'm sorry I left you so early. I love you, David. Bye, sweetheart.